Hello, wizards, witches, and everyone in between. My name is Emma, and today I will be giving you a bookshelf tour. So I recently redid my bookshelves, and I really focused on aesthetics for like the top 4, or the top 2, I guess, of each bookcase that I have, because those are the ones that are showcased. And then the third shelf down on both ones I'm happy about, but the bottom ones I honestly don't care too much about what they look like, but I did organize them by genre. So let's just jump right on in. I do want to give a little bit of a shout out to my husband's bookshelf. I'll just show you the first 3 shelves, but I think they're just really pretty. He has the most beautiful Game of Thrones shelf, and this is like his fantasy shelf, fantasy sci-fi. So that's that. I just have this hanging here, and then across the top I put some plants, and then I have my Harry Potter pops as well as my Cersei pop because I did not know where to put her. So starting with this bookcase, as you can see I have Harry Potter and Hunger Games. So this is basically my fandom shelf. I really like the way that it turned out. If you have been watching my videos for a while, you know that my Harry Potter shelf used to be very extensive. I have lots of Harry Potter knickknacks, but I think I'm gonna do something else with those. I'm planning on putting up like a separate regular shelf somewhere else with all that stuff. I just kind of wanted to declutter my shelves. So I did keep this, which is an ornament I got when I was really little. This is Professor Lupin's wand, and then that Mockingjay is also an ornament. So what I really would like to do in 2020 is kind of build up my Hunger Games section. I want specifically these UK editions of the Hunger Games, and I would love 1 or 2 Hunger Games pops, but that's what I have so far. I also have a Mockingjay pin, but I put it in my bathroom, like by where I put my makeup on and stuff, because that way I can look at it every day. Yeah, so I just have the US hardcovers. This is like a book kind of about the movies. This is a UK paperback edition with PETA on it. Apparently they don't print them anymore, so I was really excited to find that. And then obviously these are my Harry Potter hardcovers. This is technically my parents' set, but they let me have them. And then I have my 4 illustrated editions. And then moving down, this is kind of just a fantasy shelf that I organized basically by aesthetics only. Some of these are read, some are unread. I will link my unread books video down below, but this is my Lunar Chronicles series. Love that series. My trilogy. These are some I got for Christmas. I'm in love with The Cruel Prince, so it had to have its little moment here. And then I just thought these books looked really nice together. I kind of have like a black and red theme going on. And then, sorry for it's the golden hour if you can't tell, so Cersei looks weird, but got my Cersei pop because I love her and she's my queen. So down here I have all of my like weird things and memorabilia and whatever I use as bookmarks in this butterbeer cup from Universal Studios. And then I just have the Divergent series, 2 out of the 3 of the Wolves of Mercy Falls series, Fifth Wave, Raven Boys, the series that must not be named. I mean, you can read. And then I have this candle that smells like my parents' cabin. Totoro's chilling here on the shelf, but this shelf has my graphic novels, and then from like here to here-ish are all of my psychology related books, whether that be fiction or nonfiction, memoir, all that kind of stuff. And then the second half has all of my historical fiction as well as just some random adult fiction. And then down here, I mean, this is kind of just random. I obviously put my series together that didn't make the cut to be like on the prominent shelves. And then down at the bottom, I've got my Twilight. Not trying to diss Twilight by putting it at the bottom. It just kind of ended up that way. These ones are some really, really tall ones that I didn't want to put vertically on a different shelf because that shelf would just be really, really tall only for these books, so I didn't think it was worth it. And then these are just some more randoms. So this is like the very, very bottom, so no one really ever sees this. So this is my classic shelf. I have my little Winnie the Pooh pop just because it's also like my shelf where I have all of my pretty editions of things. So that's kind of what's going on here. If you don't No, I started collecting copies of The Wind in the Willows. So I have this really pretty one that my parents got me at Powell's when they went to Oregon. And then I have Wuthering Heights, The Awakening, Wind in the Willows, Anna Karenina, and The Scarlet Letter, and Winnie the Pooh in the Barnes & Noble Classics sets. Wind in the Willows, if you're interested, I would definitely give it a read. It's like a weird obsession of mine because I love the Mr. Toad ride at Disneyland ever since I was a kid, and it kind of prompted me to watch the Disney movie and then read the book, and now I'm just weirdly into the book, and I have such a weird obsession with Mr. Toad, and I just love this cover because look how long his fingers are and how smug he looks. Such an icon. And then I have Little Women, as you know, one of my favorite reads of last year. Mrs. Dalloway, one of my favorite books of all time. Gotta love Virginia Woolf. This is my parents' old copy, I think, of Emma by Jane Austen. Haven't read it. I have a little bit of a love-to-hate relationship with Jane Austen, but I am partially named after this book, so I should probably read it. And then this is a book, I think my grandma gave this to me. One of her friends was getting rid of it. And it's a really old psychology book given to somebody in 1929. And I got my bachelor's and my master's in psychology, so it's appropriate. Yeah, 1917. So as you can imagine, if you know anything about the history of psychology as a science, we've come a long way. So there are some very questionable things talked about in this that no one would dare say in the psychology field in 2020. But anyway, another Jane Austen, this gorgeous copy of The Wind in the Willows. It is a Penguin Threads edition. I want literally every book in this edition. It is like, it looks like it's embroidered. I love it. This is my mini Agatha Christie section. I love these editions of her books. This was also one of my favorite books of 2020. Have not read this one yet, but I foresee my Agatha Christie section growing in the future. I really do want to get my hands on a copy of Murder on the Orient Express in this edition as well, because I have read that, I just don't have my own copy. And these are just the rest of my classics on this shelf. I have read everything except Lolita. Alright, shelf number 2, which is another shelf you can probably see in my videos. So this is kind of like my contemporary shelf. You could argue that like the Shatter Me series isn't technically contemporary, but it's close enough, and I just love the way that the shelf looks with all the pretty colors and everything. And then I have my little plant there. I'm obsessed with this shelf. This is kind of like my childhood bookshelf. So I have my Peter Pan Pop by my Peter Pan book, Coraline's Other Mother Pop by my Coraline book, but these are just like all of my favorite books from when I was a kid. And then I have my Series of Unfortunate Events series that I absolutely loved as a kid. Spiderwick Chronicles, also a big fan, and Del Toro Quest, Coraline. Nevermore I just put here because it is a middle grade and it didn't fit on the other shelf, but I actually have not read that yet. I am so excited to though. Next is my middle grade shelf. I still really enjoy middle grade. So I have the Five Kingdoms series. I only have the first 3. By Brandon Mull, I have the Beyonders trilogy by Brandon Mull, which is a very, very underrated trilogy in my opinion. It's kind of like a young adult Lord of the Rings. I absolutely love it. And then this is my Beyonders series. Talk about it a lot. Definitely one of my favorite series. Missing the first one though because my husband is reading it. And then I have my Charlie Bone series. Another kind of, you could argue, like a Harry Potter knockoff, but I still really, really enjoyed it. Then down here we have my thriller shelf. So I figured my mascot kind of fits here with the theme, but mostly Stephen King over here. And then I have the rest of my thrillers or kind of mystery things, both adult and young adult, on this shelf. And then this is the very bottom shelf, so you don't really see it. I have all the ones, these are ones my parents have loaned me. that I need to read and give back to them, because it will then free up some space on my shelves. So these are all unread. And then these are just some kind of like coffee table books that I didn't know where else to put. And then this is obviously this V.E. Schwab trilogy that I still need to read, but I didn't have room anywhere else on my shelves to put it. So it's living down here until I can free up some more space. camera died right as I was getting the last shot for this video, so that was good timing. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing what's on my bookshelves. I really am happy with the way that they look now. I might put up some fairy lights at some point, but I need to get some different ones. I wasn't really in love with the ones I'd had last year, so we'll see. But that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!